Hello, my name is Irene Amaya. Hello, my name is Irene Amaya and I'm in 7th semester of graphic design in Anáhuac, Moyab. And today, my partner and I will be explaining a little bit more about the 90s nostalgia trend, its context, features, and trendsetters. As well, we'll be presenting to you about the process of our design proposal to a necessity that relates closely to this trend.
Hi, my name is Ivana Montiel. From Calvin Klein to Chloe, the whole 19th decade seems to be the reference that just won't die. With 19th grunge recurrently rearing its head, and our current obsession with silky pastel slip dresses and mother of pearl hair clips. Less than 20 years later, fashion that was considered cool in the 90s is cool once again. Whether it's on the catwalk, on the street, or in the stores, 90s trends are appearing everywhere. There's a theory that fashion and pop culture operate on a nostalgia pendulum wherein what's old is new again every 20 to 30 years, which is why everyone is feeling 90s fashion staples like floral sundresses, scrunches, and Adidas track pants. Nostalgia is fashion's hottest trend. In the decade spanning transition to the most utter and colorful extravagance of the centric 80s, but before the turn of the century, one of the marqueest decades in the world of fashion trends are the wonderful 90s. It was a decade of great head irreverence and new styles that marked a watershed in pop culture. The years of historical paradigm shift after the fall of the Berlin Wall and a stage of full booming technology were one of the periods in which pop occupied the music scenes of the time, one of the most characteristic elements. The trend is characterized by an explosion of colors and a touch of rebellion, at the same time featuring chunky geometric shapes and experimental, distorted fonts. Some of the other main features were vibrant bold and pastel colors, abstract shapes and patterns, dorky fonts, kitsch texture, bold typography, dark backgrounds, experimental patterns, neon colors, and a combination of psychedelic and cyberpunk motifs. The trend can be recognized by its color scheme, typography, patterns, and geometric shapes used. The trend is present mainly on fashion like glamour wear, high-waisted miniskirts, plastic chokers, knee socks, thigh pants, slip dresses. For over half a decade, 19 style has dominated runways and fashion. One example is Heidi Slimming's Fall-Winter 2013 collection for Saint Laurent, leaning into the moonlights of 19th youth culture. Nonetheless, the trend can be found on architecture with for futurist experimentation pops of saturated color, geometric accents, and attract lighting. Graphic and industrial design are also immersed in the 90s nostalgia trend, as well as product design like toys, consoles, and furniture. The 90s nostalgia is in the early mainstreamers of the stage of the attitude towards trend model since society is transitioning between the 2000s trend and this shift is slowly happening. This decade that brought grunge and minimalism is reflected in the street style of millennial influencers. Some of the influencers and celebrities right now that are endorsing the trend are Dua Lipa, Selena Gomez, Harry Styles, Bruno Mars, Kendall Jenner, Emma Chamberlain, and many more.
As for the design proposal, our team started a brainstorm process with the method of how might we exercise. The how might we method is a proven design thinking activity which has participants simply rephrase known challenges as questions beginning with how might we. This process begins by identifying and outlining the insights or pain points collected about the current design challenge or new initiative. Posterior, we created an affinity mapping, where we sorted the post-its created in the previous phase into categories. This allowed us to create and have a greater vision of the problems that we had selected. Later on, we proceeded with a voting which allowed us to decide which final idea was selected to develop the proposal of the design. After choosing our necessity, that is, educate social media users of LGBTQ community, we started at the define stage, where we define the insights, opportunities, concepts, and problems. For the final design proposal as a group, we have chosen the creation of a social media campaign and digital brochure, where we're going to create awareness and educate users about the LGBTQ community to reduce discrimination. Our insights are that nowadays some generations still live in the past and with past mentalities and have not opened their minds about these taboo topics that are now becoming more talked about and known. Due to this mentality, it has caused to create discrimination towards some specific groups like the LGBTQ community, developing to actions filled with hatred. We can also mention that it is not only past generations, but some groups in society that are not well educated and have become homophobic. So we want to educate and help change minds with the social media community and allow them to have a broader view about this group. The creation of this campaign and brochure has the opportunity to be made online, and this will allow us to reach a greater number of people. As mentioned before, the concept of this project is to create awareness and diminish the hatred and little information about this community, allowing people to create their own perception and providing an opportunity for the LGBTQ to feel safer. Since part of the project is dedicated to educate past generations, it is a great opportunity to apply and use the 90s nostalgia trend, since it will allow us to have a better approach with these generations. The characteristics of the project will be bright colors, obscure backgrounds, the use of typography, glitchy effects, and psychedelic patterns. After defining this, we started our sketching process for the final result. Finishing with this process, we proceeded to ideate the final proposal. For the solution of the necessity detected, we have created a digital brochure and campaign. The objective of the project is to reach as many people as possible, in specific the millennial generation, since it is the generation that still has a different perception and idea of the LGBTQ plus community. We believe that the 90s nostalgia trend fits correctly to the necessity detected, since it will provide an opportunity to have a closer approach to the generation that we want to reach. This is because they experienced this decade, and subconsciously we want to cause an impact through the reminiscence feeling. The specific features of the trend used in the design are bold typography, dark backgrounds, experimental distorted fonts, vibrant bold colors, and abstract shapes and patterns. The reason we chose these specific features within the broad amount of characteristics, it's because it allows us as designers to portray and relate with certain elements that characterize the necessity group, the LGBT community. The elements applied in the compositions easily resemble this community and can be recognized and identified as part of the trend. Our main goal is to reach and impact as many people as possible, but at the same time, we want viewers to easily associate the design with the trend. We believe that this trend is relevant since it's taken upon many of the areas of design and daily products and services. We can say that this trend is very inclusive with various generations. 90s nostalgia is shaping the way generations act, consume, and dress, and it's also an opportunity for past generations to feel welcomed and that they can be part of this trend as well. As designers, we should pay close attention to this trend since we have to learn how to reach a bigger audience and learn how to have a closer approach by understanding their needs and wants. We consider that our proposal helps solve the necessity since social media has become very important in the past few years, allowing every person on the globe to keep in touch with their loved ones even if they're in a different continent. This campaign and digital brochure allows people in different countries, ages, and tastes to understand a little bit more about this community and will help reduce hatred acts and discrimination.